life doesn't happen to you. You have to be strategic. You have to make your own moves. You have to decide, okay, if I make this move today and I might look stupid, what's gonna happen in a year, 2 years, 5 years?
Sure.
And I always think with like long term. It's when you're in real estate,
you have to.
You have to think super long term.
Welcome to Insider Trading, where we trade insider info with experts across all industries. I'm Ravi Kantha with the Kantha Team at SERHANT. Today, got the pleasure of having Nile Lundgren, founder and leader of the Lundgren team at SERHANT, one of the top producers at the company for I don't know how many years now. The company's 4 or 5 years old.
Yeah.
So you've been a top producer for what, 5 years?
Yeah.
You've been on Fox Business, been in the Mansion Global, I think the New York Times, highly recognized all over the place, and star of Owning Manhattan, which now is in his second season, streaming on Netflix, and is doing really, really well.
Absolutely.
And super exciting. Great for the brokerage, great for you guys. So thanks for joining, man.
Thanks for having me, Ravi. Really appreciate it.
It's a pleasure. Pleasure. I enjoyed watching the season, and like it's such a weird. It's been a weird experience for me because I'm not on the show, but I got team members on the show and like business on listings on the show. So like I've had this like sort of out of body like experience. And I remember when they were filming and it's just been great to watch it all come out and see like the reviews and the positive reception and everything. It's a great thing for the brokerage. Yeah. And I think it's interesting. Like we chatted before, like the exposure that you're getting now from the second season seems like it's blowing up.
Crazy. I mean, season 1 was excellent.
Yeah.
I thought that we had a lot of global recognition because it's a global show.
Yeah.
I mean, I went to Dubai recently and in August before season 2 came out, and like I was walking around the Dubai Mall and people were coming out like, oh my God, it's Nile. And I was like, whoa, this is crazy. But now it's even wilder. I mean, I walked out of my house today or my apartment, walked like half a block, 2 people clocked me immediately. I was like, whoa. They're like, love you on the show, man. Keep going. I'm like, what? So I think now it's actually hitting a point where it's going like exponential. First was like, okay, here it is. But now I think the season and what we've all done, and I think we've all grown as a cast, and I think the company's grown. So with all of that, and obviously Ryan being who Ryan is, it's just an unbelievable global platform. And I think everybody on the show's taken, great advantage of it. Plus, the brokerage too. Everyone at the brokerage is really, really reaping benefits. So it's not just us. I think it's everybody who's associated with the brand and with the brokerages are going to be, really taking off from here.
No, I can't tell you. I'm somehow I make it on a lot of people's like canvassing lists, and I get emails from like SERHANT brokers or text messages. It's like, I'm at SERHANT, home of Owning Manhattan, and like whatever. And it's really funny because it's becoming its own entity. It's like it's not you're not an actor. It's not a drama. Like it's a reality show, but it's taken on a life of its own. And people are really getting invested in the character development and who you guys are. And they've done a great job with the storylines. And I think that's one of the toughest jobs on earth. Like being the showrunner, like Sam and Nick and all. Like how do they do it? Because they have to follow our like lives as real estate agents, your lives, right? Like cast members. And find something interesting and then figure out how do we put it together and like make it fun to watch and interesting to watch. But I think, some of the conflicts, some of the listings and just the day-to-day challenges, I mean, that stuff is good TV. Yeah. Like the one scene that really, and no offense to you, the one scene that sticks with me is Jordan and Ryan going at it.
Oh, amazing.
Like that was really engaging stuff. Yeah. And I thought like I did a little content on that clip, which was just like, you really felt what Jordan was feeling. And like, whether you agree with them or not, it doesn't really matter, right? Because people feel it, they respond to it, and they engage with it. So it just makes good TV. And it's a fascinating thing to deal with as a broker now. And it's funny because the knock on reality TV on like it devalues the business or whatever, I think is total bullshit. Like Leonard Steinberg on his platform always like, oh, it makes us all look unprofessional. I mean, I think that's garbage because brokers make their own professionalism, right? Like
Right.
the way you carry yourself and how you do your business is what
Right.
defines that.
Correct.
How do you like? Does that piss you off though? Like when you hear Leonard talking about stuff like that or other people?
I worked at Compass for 7 years.
Yeah.
I worked on the same floor as Leonard. I considered Leonard a mentor.
Mm-hmm.
But I also subscribe to the philosophy that any publicity is good publicity. So I appreciate what he's saying. He's certainly from a different generation, and that's
sure.
fine. Go read your books and get New York Times. I don't care. For me, good, bad, or ugly, I think what age we live in now, you have to be out there. You have to be, a bit controversial, funny, charismatic, charming,
Yeah.
sad. You have to cry. You have to show emotions. That's actually real. And if you think about it, does it make the brokerage community look less? Well, I don't know, because if you think about if it's professional or non-professional, most of the brokerage community, if you think about it, there's over 100,000 licensed real estate agents in New York City right now. And how many of them are doing deals? Maybe 2,000?
Yeah,
so
maybe.
there's 98,000 people that are unprofessional, don't know what they're doing.
Yeah.
And that's the truth.
I agree.
So it's like I respect him. I respect what he's saying, but I don't totally agree with it because I think I'm playing a different game. I'm playing a different game than he's playing.
Sure.
And if he wants to continue to think that, that's fine. I think there's going to be that school of thought, but I think there's a whole brand new school of thought that Ryan really championed, and I think we're all, championing it as well. And I think in 5 years we'll see who's going to come out on top.
The attention economy.
Exactly.
Right? That's
exactly.
what I know. That's what every time I talk to Coin, that's
Yep.
that's what comes up is it's the attention economy.
Yep.
Get attention.
Yep.
It's just a question of how you get it, right?
Right.
And like what it does for your business.
Right.
You guys have this platform now. Like, how are you going to use it?
Right.
Like for you, when you look at what getting recognized on the street.
Yep.
What are you doing with that to go to monetize that in real estate? Because I think that's the real counterpoint to all that stuff, right? Is if you have this platform, how are you monetizing it? And is it effective? And is it better for your clients?
Right. Well, I think you have to think about what you want. For me, it's always been real estate. Other agents on the show, maybe they're not doing as much real estate. Maybe they're doing Swiffer commercials, but they're making money off of it, right? Yeah. It's funny, right? I'm always thinking like, what's going? But you know what? She turned it into a business and she's monetizing it. So good for Chloe.
Yeah.
I really appreciate that. And, she had a baby, so she's, in a tough spot for like doing deals. And luckily I was able to help her with that 18th Street deal that we did together. And we actually, I coached her up on how to do it. She also coached me up on how to, be, in a musical. And it was absolutely hilarious. I thought that was one of the funniest parts of the whole show is like me like, what? This doesn't compute.
Yeah.
But I think that's just where we're at. And it's how are you going to monetize it? So for me, it's about translating those people that I meet and just being more visible. And the more visible that I am, eventually, look, people only buy or rent real estate on average. Rent is a little bit different, but buy every 7 years. Right. So you might not be the guy who's going to transact with me right now, but you notice me, you met me, you see me, you watch the show. And when you're ready, you're damn right you're going to call me because my phone has been ringing from probably those people that saw me in season 1. And now they're coming around and saying, hey, I'm thinking about buying, would you be okay helping me? My price point's only $3 million. I'm like, that's okay. We do 3 million. We do 2 million. We do 1 million.
Yeah.
I know on the show it makes it look like we're doing all these bigger deals, which for the most part, as a company we are, and I've done a lot of big deals, but overall it's like that's not everything. Our bread and butter's 4, 5, 6 million.
Right.
And like people don't realize that, but that's the truth. And I think there's a lot of ways to monetize it. And I think what you're doing too is just like you have media here, right?
Mm-hmm.
A podcast. These types of things only help out your own personal brand. It will translate to revenue and dollars, in the long run. And I think that's what you're committed to, and I'm committed to that as well.
Yeah, I think so. I'm trying to lean into it. I think the reality with this stuff is I used to see it as a chore that took away from revenue generating activity, right? Because I'm obsessive every day. It's like every minute of my day needs to be for revenue generation.
Right.
And anytime it's not, it better be because I'm with my kids.
Right.
And otherwise, like it's a wasted minute. And I trained myself to think like that over the years.
Right.
Frankly, my wife helped train me. She'd be like, you're at work, focus on work, stop worrying about everything else. When you're home, you're with the kids.
Right.
And I was like, okay, honey. But I think what's changed since I got to SERHANT, and part of the reason I came here, right, is like I wanted to invest in tech. I wanted to invest in social media because to me, it looked like the future of marketing in all businesses, not just real estate.
Right.
And personal brand, it wasn't going any. It became clear to me, like, it's not going anywhere. Like, it's not going to change. We're not going to, as a society, all of a sudden be like, you know what? Let's go back to company brands and let's go back to faceless names and logos. And that's what
soulless,
people hire. It's like, that's what people are going to hire, right? It's like, the world is different. And you got to embrace it and figure out how you're going to navigate it and take advantage of it. So we're leaning into social. And I can tell you, like, this is what, episode 4, I think. And I've already gotten dozens of DMs, text messages, whatever. And it's about this. Oh, I love the format. I love, whatever. People are listening. I walked into the office the other day and Sean's listening to this. And I was just like, why? Like, in my mind, I'm like, I didn't think anyone actually would find this interesting.
Right.
But I think if you do stuff like this and you engage with interesting people and just frankly let them tell their stories, like it's fun, right? It's good listening. It's good conversation. It's in some ways similar to the show in that respect. You get a real view into what actually works.
Right.
But let's go back, man. How long have you been in real estate now?
I've been in real estate for 19 years.
19 years. So take me back to the beginning. What got you into real estate and how'd you get there?
Yeah, I mean, I moved to New York City. When I played college football.
Whereabouts?
I played at Trinity College in
nice.
Hartford, Connecticut.
Very nice.
D3.
I played at Susquehanna, D3
oh, yeah.
as well.
Cool.
Yeah.
Sweet, bro.
What position were you?
I was inside linebacker.
Inside linebacker.
A lot bigger. I'm skinny right now.
I was a wide receiver.
Oh, yeah? Wow.
And
it's
kick
like
returns, punt returns, all that stuff. Yeah.
Got you.
So.
Yeah, I had a great college career. We won 3 championships, undefeated. We won 31 straight games.
Nice.
So I got 3 championship rings. That was a lot of fun.
Yeah.
But during my senior year, I was living in Brooklyn right before my senior year, and I was training as a boxer. And at the end of the summer, my buddy who I was living with, he said, go to the end of the street and just walk down and just talk shit. And I'm going to videotape you. I was like, all right, cool. So I went to the end of the street and I just talked shit, just walking down the street. And then I got to the little apartment where we were living at the time and over the summer. And I just took out a razor and I like buzzed my head like on the street, like right there. It's hilarious. And I submitted it to all my teammates. My coach was like, oh my God, this is insane. Like, you cannot do this. Like, I'm afraid. And I was like, dude, if my head coach is afraid of something, there might be something here. So when he told me not to do it, every week when we played football, I would go to every practice with a camera, interviewing people as we're walking out. And then as we walk in, and then I would make montages. So I was actually doing vlogs in 2007. So I had a 10-part series. Every week I would drop the video on Friday. I would put it on Facebook right when it first came out. I would be poking all of the other teams' quarterbacks and running backs, right? And I'd be talking shit about the upcoming game. And I created kind of like a celebrity of myself. And I realized, wow, this whole media thing, I'm like good at it. The camera likes me. I was kind of like, big time guy on campus. And my buddy who helped me make those videos, he was in New York. And when I finished and graduated, he was like, hey, you need to come to New York. And I was like, okay. He's like, I just bought this house. It was one of those no money down situations. And he's like, I got a spot for you in the basement. I was like, cool. I'm going to be famous one day. So like, let's do it.
Let's go.
So I lived on an air mattress and I was just, smoking weed, playing Mario Kart, like every 21, 22-year-old in the basement. Like, what am I going to do? I don't know. And long story short, the guy that sold him the house walked downstairs and saw me and was like, what are you doing? And I was like, I don't know. I'm playing video games, bro. Yeah. He's like, do you know people with good credit? I was like, yeah, I know a lot of people with good credit. He's like, great, you're going to work for me. I'm like, what? What do you mean work for you? He's like, yeah, you're going to start tomorrow, 8 a.m. You'll come to the building that I own on Hart Street in Bushwick, and I'll teach you how to do real estate. And I was like, all right, fair enough. So
what was it, like rental, brokerage? What was it?
Well, so I was more of a landlord agent.
Yeah.
He owned about 50 buildings in the Bushwick in Bed-Stuy area. And my first day, it was just basically a whiteboard like this, and it had a bunch of different addresses. And he said, here's the key rack. There's your camera. go take the keys, walk to these apartments, take photos of them, and put them on Craigslist. And the first ever lead I got, I booked him. It was a $600 basement apartment. But from football, I always knew you can't show up on time. You show up on time, you're late. So I was there 15 minutes early. And I had my spiral notebook because I was like, oh, I'm gonna take notes, and this be great. And the key that I had apparently was the wrong key, or it didn't work. And I was like, damn, what am I gonna do? The office is like 30 blocks that way. So I was like, think, Nile, think. I was like, all right. I looked around, I had my spiral notebook. I undid the wire of the spiral notebook. I just stuck it around, jimmying it, popped the door open. I was like, whoa, that was cool. And then the lady walked up. I'm like, totally cool. I'm like walking downstairs. There's like a rat. I kicked the rat out of the side. I'm like, this place is great. I was just like super excited. There was no windows.
Yeah.
It was insane. And I did my first deal and I made like $200. He's like, here's $200 for that. So then I did another deal. And he's like, hey, do you think you could sell this building? And I was like, yeah, all right. What do you think I should do? He's like, I don't know, sell it. I was like, okay. So I called all of my friends who I played football with, and I got their dads' numbers, and I called all their dads. And I was like, hey, I got this property in Queens in Ridgewood, Queens on Seneca Avenue. You want to buy it? And they're like, what, kid? But one of these guys bought it.
That's amazing.
And I sold it. And it was 1079 Seneca Avenue, and I sold it for $775,000. I wasn't even licensed.
Nice.
I had no idea what was going on. And the deal that the guy cut with me, his name's Edwin, he said, you're not licensed, but if you bring the buyer, I'll pay your credit card debt. So in college, I had like, $3-4 grand of credit card debt. That was, and it was like crushing me.
Of course.
At that time, I didn't have any money.
Yep.
So I was like, good deal. So then I made that deal. I got my credit card debt erased. And then I was like, maybe I should get my license. I didn't even realize that you really like needed a license. I was just clueless. I was a young kid.
Yeah.
So I got my license from there. And then that was really when I think my real estate kind of career started. I started at a small rental shop called Cooper & Cooper Real Estate.
Oh, I know them.
Yeah, they did a really great job of training.
Yeah.
My fundamentals are excellent, just from client.
They've been around a long time.
Yeah, long time. I'm very grateful for them. But
what's the principal's name?
Jordan and Jeremy Cooper.
Jeremy is the one I dealt with Jeremy recently.
Yeah.
He was great.
Yeah, great guys. I got a lot of respect for them, but I quickly outgrew that. They were just doing the rental thing. So I said, you know what? I'm going to go and sell commercial real estate from there. So I went from rentals to now I'm working with a bunch of like G's, like guys that own billions of dollars of real estate, like themselves.
Where were you working at the time?
Friedman. It was Friedman Roth Realty.
Yeah.
Yep. Eric Roth, Eric Lupo, Paul Italia, Joel Radman.
Spoken to Joel
all those guys.
countless times over the years.
Joel's my boy.
They own so much real estate.
Yeah, tons. So I got to learn a lot more than just rentals. I learned real estate. I understand a lot deeper than I think most residential brokers because it's just a whole different animal. And when you're cold calling, I'd make 300 cold calls a day.
Right.
And that's
what you have to do in that business.
And that was tough. But you know what? I learned how to get people to pay attention to me. Because at the beginning, I would say, hi, this is Nile Lundgren. I'm with Friedman Roth. Click. Right? But then at the end, when I was starving. I was like, you got to listen to me, John. And then I really Wolf of Wall Street energy.
Yeah.
And then it works. Then people are like, all right. And I'm like, hey, what's your favorite coffee? I would always say that. What's your favorite coffee? And they'd say like a latte. I'm like, great. I'm going to meet you on the corner of 52nd and whatever in 15 minutes. And I'd leave the office and I'd just go get FaceTime with these people.
Yeah.
And I learned so much through that experience.
That's great, man. That's hustle.
Yeah.
Then I used to do stuff like that.
Yeah.
It's the way you get started.
That's really the only way to do it. And I really think, and I learned a lot of things. Like you can't cold call sitting down.
Stand up.
It's the emotion. It's the tone.
I'm uncomfortable right now. I want to stand up.
Right. Yeah.
Always.
Yeah.
Smile while you talk.
Yeah. Smile while you dial, baby. Smile while you dial.
And I tell my team, we do training sessions now. We every 2 weeks, I think. And I tell them every time, I'm like, name who you are and price of whatever you're calling about. Call with information, right? Because if you spit out a price to somebody about something on their block or in their building, that's your hook. They don't, and then just shut the fuck up. I actually tell them, I was like, you get that information out and then shut up. Don't say a word.
You see this? You see this right now? Do you see this? So you see this on Owning Manhattan a lot. You see when I was down in that scene with Jordan Hurt, Jess Taylor, and Genesis in Miami.
Yeah, yeah.
And then, Jordan starts kind of going at Genesis, and you see me like this. This is what I learned when I was cold calling with these guys, because there's a point where real estate agents or salespeople in general just keep going.
Keep talking.
And they screw the deal. So my mentor, Paul Italia, would always be like, go like this, because it's your own.
It's your cue.
It's your cue to just not talk. It's like you're winning, just stop. So like you'll see me on the show, like even when I was doing that deal with Chloe, I'm talking to her and I'm going like this to her, like, stop talking. Don't lose it. You're winning right now.
Yeah.
So it's like, you're right. You got
resistance to fill the silence. Like you have to resist the urge to fill the silence.
Right.
Silence. And that's really hard to do. It's totally against human nature.
Of course.
Like it's not something you do naturally at all. And it's super uncomfortable while you get used to doing it.
Right.
But it's also like it generally sets you apart from everybody else.
100%.
Right? Because you're not the one who just keeps talking. You gave some useful information or some call to action, whatever it was. And now you shut up and the person has time to think about it, process it. And they're also thinking like, this is different than every other fucking bullshit call that I get.
Right.
And you go past that, it's the impact of the silence. Like there's so much research on this stuff and I find it fascinating. It's like silence, because it makes people uncomfortable. Sometimes they'll give information they otherwise would not have given.
Right.
They'll say things they wouldn't have said otherwise.
Right.
Well, I have been thinking about selling.
Right.
Like that would have never come out if I didn't shut up.
Right.
Like if I just kept talking. Now that I've just put it in their court.
100%.
And now they start talking.
I always say, embrace the uncomfortable silences.
Totally.
So whenever I'm in a moment, even if it's a showing, doesn't even have to be a cold call, but if I'm in a showing and it gets a little awkward, sometimes I just let it be. And I'm like embracing those moments. I used to be in that moment maybe early in my career, 15 years ago, and I'd be like panicking, like, wait. Now I'm like, let it be. And then whoever talks first loses, right? Yeah. Let them go and talk. And then I could give my sales, pitch right off of that. So it's very delicate, but I learned a lot of those really important skills early on in my career. Yeah. Then I started a brokerage. I built a company based off a landlord connect that I had, and I had probably about 150 exclusive rentals, and I just built a business.
So just a big rental brokerage business.
Yeah, we did some sales, but it was mostly rentals. I built it to about 35 agents, if you can believe it, from zero.
Yeah, it's
so
great.
I'd go to New York Real Estate Institute. I'd make the speeches in the pinstripes. I'd do full Wolf of Wall Street scenarios. I'm like, I don't want any of you motherfuckers. I want one. Like some crazy shit. And then I get that one guy who's like, dude. And I'm like, let's go. and it worked. Yeah. Then I went to Compass, and then I was there for 7 years. And then, the pandemic hit, and, I got a call from Ryan. And then boom, I was like, you know what? I saw the advantage of being at a startup like Compass early on. I was agent 183 there. And
at Compass.
At Compass.
What do you how early were you on
Number
this?
10 here.
10. Yeah, I knew it was pretty
so
early
when I was called by Ryan, I'm like, I know exactly what's going to happen here, and I'm going to take a leap. And then everyone at my old company was like, hey, why are you doing that? That's an unproven company. I'm like, well, when I joined your company, it was unproven. So I think I'm going to do it again, because I knew that if you're in pole position, you got to take a risk to be in pole position. But if you do it and you take that chance and it takes off, I also knew that I would help affect how it would take off. Yeah. Right. So I was like, I could do this. I can help him do. So I'm like, yeah, I'm doing that. And so I joined SERHANT, and the rest is history. 2020-ish, right? Yeah. Right at the beginning of 2021. Right.
Yeah. I remember Ryan called me around the same time. Asked me to maybe come run a townhouse division or something, because that was really what my focus was at the time. Right. Wasn't the right fit then. Right. But I do know I had some of the same feelings even, a few years later, right? So it was 3 years later. Some of those same feelings you just described, right? Being part of a startup, having that energy. I remember what I was really impressed by. I knew Ryan well. I knew Ryan worked his ass off and had a great attitude, and just I knew Ryan. Right. It was everybody else that made me feel good about it. Right. It was all the people in leadership who, when I said yes and said I want to do this, they scheduled a 9:30 or 10 p.m. phone call with me and their entire team. I'm on the phone with 9, 10, 11 people who are all going through. They all knew more about me than I did And it was like they all prepped. They had plans like PR and social and
Wow.
and like it was just really impressive because the energy level was so high. And that's what I feel like when I went around and talked to other brokerages.
Right.
Like, don't get me wrong, like, there are people at Compass, especially in senior leadership, with tons of energy.
Oh yeah.
Right. And it's not a low energy place at all. But with Compass, kind of felt like, okay, like another cog in the wheel. Like, I don't really like this is fine. It could work. Like nothing against what they're doing, but it didn't like blow me away. And I wasn't super like something just felt off.
Right.
And then with Ryan, it kind of felt like there was this like this positive uncertainty of like,
Right.
what could this be?
Right.
And you know, his pitch to me was like, come build a company at the company.
Right.
Like you could do whatever you want here as long as like you like follow the rules and are like a good person.
Right.
I just grow the business however you want.
Right.
And
Right.
I remember like it felt like, oh, like come here, take the shackles off, do what you want to do,
Right.
call me when you need something, thanks,
Right.
bye.
Right.
I was like, this is the best thing ever.
Right.
Like that's exactly what I'm looking
It's incredible.
for.
It's incredible. And nobody wants to be micromanaged, especially with someone like you or me who's bringing in tens of millions of dollars.
Yeah.
You know, it's like
you want
freedom.
leeway and freedom.
Yeah.
You want to do it your way, and because it works, right?
Of course.
For no other reason. If it didn't work, I'm going to stop.
You wouldn't be here.
Yeah,
you know?
exactly. But yeah, I think that's where the energy and the ambition, which aligns with a lot of what you're describing, right? That fire, that hustle early on to like, you know, what kind of coffee do you like? That kind of like those shticks are great. Like I used to hand deliver thank you letters
Yep.
to every single person I cold called that day.
Yep. Me too.
Anyone I
At
connected
the end
with
of the
and
day,
had a
I
conversation.
had note cards.
Yeah.
And then those note cards at the end of the day, the ones I connected with, I just go and I'd write them notes. It wasn't crazy. It was a white piece of paper, no header.
Yeah.
And it just said, hey, John, nice meeting with you. Let me know if you want to talk more
Thank
about
you.
selling your building.
Yeah,
This is,
exactly.
you know, like easy. And then I'd slip my business card in there. Like that was it. It was pretty wild.
I sold a house last year that came from literally my first week of cold calling. And I've been doing this 10 years, right? It's like, so just stayed in touch. And you know what? It's time. And nothing remarkable, nothing dramatic about it. It's like, all right, great. Like we've been in touch. Now's the time.
Right.
And they're ready. And so I tell people, I'm like, and I've also, you know, we've all had the experience of like, okay, you made that call and you just struck gold, right? Like this person wants to sell tomorrow and you caught them at the right time. And it's the ultimate low-hanging fruit, right? Like you just called. That's like the best feeling because you make those calls, 300 a day, 300 calls in a day. You're lucky if you connect with, you know, 50 people, right? Like, and actually have real conversations.
Right.
And some of them will tell you to fuck off. Some of them will be fine. Most people are pretty polite with like, thanks, no, not interested.
Yeah.
But when you have that call where it turns into like a real thing really fast, what a feeling, man. Like, and it makes that hustle all worth it. And gives 100%. It gives you all, like fills the gas tank right back up. You're like, all right, let's go.
Yeah, it gets depleted and then that happens. You're like, okay. And then you're up and then you're like, ah.
The roller coaster of the business for sure. So you joined SERHANT 2021, early 21. Tell me about how Owning Manhattan came to be. How did you get that opportunity? What happened? Because that's such a major development, right? To like be a part of that.
Yeah, I was actually fortunate enough to be on another reality TV show.
That's right. I forgot about that. What was the show?
It was called Camp Getaway.
Camp Getaway.
So I was an adult camp counselor at a camp in Connecticut.
Okay.
And I filmed that with Bravo.
Okay.
And that really taught me about reality TV, how to work with producers, how to work with cameras, you know, how to be entertaining. Because there's like what's happening and then there's like entertainment.
Right.
And like, because you could do a lot of things that are happening, but like, is it entertaining? And if it's not going to make it.
Right.
Right. So I learned a lot by doing that. And the reason why I went and I did that is because I knew that Bravo was the same place where $1 Million Listing was. And I always had my eyes set on that.
So that was while you were an agent?
Yeah. I was at Compass. And everyone's like, you're a camp counselor? And I was like, yeah, camp counselor. But I had a larger plan in place. Like I was like, if I get in with Bravo, then maybe I get on $1 Million Listing. Right. And then and look, you can watch the show. It's horrible. I look like an idiot, but it's okay. If you want to laugh.
One season?
Yeah, one and done.
Okay.
If you want to laugh a lot, you could just put it on.
I'll check it out.
It's horrible. But I mean, look, I learned so much. I'm so grateful for all of my producers and everybody who taught me a lot of really key things. And from there, my producer's like, hey, we got a spot on this as like a buyer for this $1 million listing scene. Would you want to be, bringing a buyer? And I was like, jackpot, nailed it. So went from that show to episode 1 of season 9 of $1 Million Listing. I'm representing a buyer.
Nice.
So then I made it on. I was like validated. I was like, I can't believe that.
And where were you at that time? Were you still at Compass?
Still at Compass.
Okay.
And then the show aired in 2020. And then I believe the last season of $1 Million Listing came out in 2021. So then 2020 I had a show. 2021 I had a show. I was actually at SERHANT and then it came out. But I knew to go to SERHANT because I was like, Ryan's not stupid, this guy. I know he's gonna do something bigger.
Yeah.
And I have, that vlog experience where I also made my own vlogs. I was also doing, all kinds of social media for many, many years.
How was your social media like presence and following at the time?
Wasn't very big, but I thought very highly of myself. And
that's the quote of the year. I love it.
And I tried hard. I didn't have too many followers, but I just put the content out because I was like, I just kind of enjoyed it. I was like, I'm having a good time. I figured, why not? And then, so I knew when I got to SERHANT that something was going to happen. I was like, there's something, so I just need to be here early and I'm just going to see what's going to happen. And then I got the text from Ryan like a couple months later. He's like, hey, do you think you could do, an interview for a potential TV show coming up soon? I'm like, abso-fucking-lutely, brother.
Yeah, maybe I'll think about it.
Yeah. But I was like, dude, this is happening. This is so crazy. It's actually happening. Like I got on this show and then I got on that show and then I joined SERHANT. I was like making these moves because life doesn't happen to you. You have to be strategic. You have to make your own moves. You have to decide, okay, if I make this move today and I might look stupid, what's gonna happen in a year, 2 years, 5 years?
Sure.
And I always think with like long term. It's when you're in real estate,
you have to.
You have to think super long term. So I went into those interviews and I knew how to kill interviews because I had already interviewed and auditioned for other shows.
To everyone wants to know, I'm sure, who's going to listen. How do you kill an interview for reality TV? What's the key?
You got to be totally obnoxious. Totally obnoxious. I'll tell you how I won my Bravo. Bravo one. Camp counselor. So right before I go to this meeting, by the way, I have a wife beater on. I have a backwards hat. I have red shades. I go pick up a whistle and a clipboard. Okay? And I walk in and there's a whole spread of food with all these producers and Bravo executives. And they say, thanks for coming in, Nile. Would you like to have a croissant or maybe some muffins? I said, let me tell you something about evolution. Okay, we're hunter-gatherers here, so I don't need to eat first thing in the morning. I'm gonna go hunt, and then maybe I'll think about eating. Any other questions? That's how I started the interview. They were like, and I'm wearing these glasses, I got a clipboard, I got a whistle, I'm looking like a crazy person. Yeah. And they're like, 10 minutes there, like, we really like you. I'm like, really? Okay. But I knew that was like the energy that you have to give.
Yeah, like that disruptor energy.
Yeah, because I really think that being a camp counselor would be great for my career. Like, nah, bro. I'm talking about some crazy random left field shit and I'm making them all like go like this.
Sure.
So I brought that same energy to the interviews and we interviewed with, I think it was NBC Universal, Peacock. Mm-hmm. We also interviewed with Hulu. I did that audition. And then we also did Netflix. So we hedged. We did 3 separate ones.
For Owning Manhattan, you mean?
Yeah, for Owning Manhattan.
Yeah,
Excuse me. So jumping to Owning Manhattan. And so I had that experience. I knew how to do it. And, I said some crazy shit. I mean, one of the things that I said was that, at SERHANT, everybody's business model is to go and take a selfie with Ryan and put it on Instagram and hope that maybe they're going to get a fucking lead. That's how I was like, I'm not doing that shit. I was like, I don't even need to take a picture with him.
Yep.
And they were like, this guy's good. Because I'm like, it's a little controversial. I'm like, maybe making fun of other people. Maybe it's the truth.
Well, it is,
right?
I mean, it is the truth. The biggest hesitation, right? Of like, you want to make sure any new brokerage is heading in the right direction. Right. And the blessing and curse of Ryan is like, he's got this magnetism to him,
Right.
right? He's a celebrity.
Right.
Everyone knows him all over the world
Right.
now. Very, very like excellent, amazing real estate broker.
Yep.
But he's bigger than that now.
Yep.
And I tell people all the time, like the difference of perception of Ryan, like in New York City,
Yeah.
all the real estate agents, like they see him as superstar agent who now has his own brokerage and he's famous.
Yep.
Right? You go outside New York and he is a cult figure.
Oh, yeah.
Like there's like a following that is like, it's like watching Taylor Swift walk around.
100%.
People are flocking to him.
100%.
I came up to him, I put my arm around him at the Sell It conference and said, I was like, dude, this is my first time seeing this. I'm going to call you Real Estate Jesus from now on because I've never seen anything like this.
It's crazy.
It's bonkers.
Crazy.
But I, you know, to your point, like knowing he was going to do something, that's really like probably the most reliable and complimentary thing about Ryan is like, it's always in motion. Like
Yes.
there is no, Ryan's never like, yeah, we're good. Like, you know, this is fine.
Yeah.
Like, and that's probably the one thing I think I like can relate to most is like, I don't want to be static.
No.
I get miserable if I don't see long-term
Right.
upside and potential for growth.
Right.
And that's what I felt here. So it's funny that you said kind of the same thing in
Yeah.
terms of like what you were looking for. So you go through these interviews for Owning Manhattan.
Yeah.
How long did the process take and what did that look like?
So we had to go through interviews. That took 2 months probably to do all that. And then we got word that we needed to film a pilot. So then we filmed a pilot. That was, I'd probably say 60 to 90 days. And then that pilot was then distributed throughout, you know, those different networks.
Mm-hmm.
And then I believe it was maybe April of 2020. 2022, April of 2022, where he called everyone into the office. And that was the day where he was going to tell us who picked us, right? Or nobody. So it was either Netflix or Peacock or Hulu, and maybe it was nobody. And so they brought us all in, and he got a phone call, and they're like, it's Netflix. And I was like, holy shit.
Big deal.
Big deal.
Yeah,
I was
dude.
like, this is exactly what I've been working on. I mean, this was a long-term plan for me.
Totally.
Starting in the vlogs in 2007.
Mm-hmm.
So I've been working all the way here, and to hear that, I was like, it's like a relief, but then it was also like, I'm at the bottom of the mountain. Like, now the real work begins. And that's what Ryan says, is like, what got you here won't get you there. Because even to get to SERHANT, I had to burn every contact. I had to squeeze deals out of every person I've ever met, like to get, just to, you know, to continue to build my way up and get there.
Totally.
And then I got there, and it's like, now you're at the bottom of the mountain again.
Yep.
And I'm like, damn. So it was a really unique experience because on my camp show, when you show up, you're in an environment. And it, you know, it is what it is. You just act as you would normally, right?
Right.
But this is different. You have to produce. You have to come up with listings. You have to come up with situations. You have to come up with apartments. You have to come up with ideas. You have to get releases signed. So it's a whole different ball game.
Yeah.
Just to be on this Owning Manhattan level. And I learned a lot pretty quickly, but I realized that, you know, what got you here won't get you there.
Yeah.
You know, and I had to change, and I had to adapt, and I had to grow. You know, one of the things that a lot of people ask me is like, you know, what's it like working with Ryan Serhant? It's like, well, to work with Ryan Serhant, you have to kill the person who you used to be. I killed my old self multiple times to be here because I have to constantly reinvent myself.
Yeah.
And you know, that's what Ryan does. He's reinventing himself over and over and over.
Totally.
And
yeah.
over
You see
and
the
over.
evolution of his
Right.
brand over the
like
years.
Like you said, he's not static. You're not static. I'm not.
All his
static.
content now he's in this transition mode of like he's still a real estate broker,
Right.
but he's also like the CEO of 3 companies essentially, right? And he's invested in these other things, and his content reflects that, right? Like more of the problems of being a CEO. Like I think it's great. Like and it's an interesting thing. I mean, look, you could do a case study on so many things about his career, but I think that's really, you know, reinventing yourself and continuing to change for your audience. I think that's super important. And one of the things I've learned, like I'm getting into new development, right? We've got a huge year coming we have $600 million of new development inventory to put on the market over the next 12 to 18 months.
Incredible.
And
by
it's
the way.
fucking, it's
Congratulations. That's
Thank
huge.
you.
That's massive. I know how hard that side of the business is.
Well, so I've been the townhouse guy forever, right? And that's great. It's awesome to have a niche and to be good at something. but to reinvent yourself, like
Right.
my Instagram name was the Townhouse Guy. I got rid of it, and everyone's like, "Why are you doing that?" I was like, "Cause when I go sit in front of a developer in 2 months or next week to pitch
Bingo.
a 300 unit building or something, like they're not gonna take me seriously
Right.
if I'm not something that's more
Right.
like just more of a fit for the building,
Right.
right?" So I started doing that, and I like it's a big difference. Now we finally, my brand is evolving, the team's brand is evolving, and I'm just, working with the people here at Serhant, trying to like keep up and figure out how to position ourselves as like market leaders. It's a challenge, like relentless challenge. And the show challenges were super interesting to me because I started dealing with getting releases because some of our listings are on the show. Having that conversation with sellers,
Especially when the show's
like,
not in it, they don't know about it. You're
yeah,
like, there's a show, it's on net. They're like,
yeah.
what?
Yeah. And it's an interesting conversation. Totally, all this stuff is new ground for me. I'm like, this is fucking wild. Like, and it's been a learning experience. But how's it affecting you and your business? Like, how does being on the show, does it have a negative impact on your business? Like, does it make things more challenging for you, like day to day? Because I deal with it in this very tangential way. Like it's there, but I can avoid it if I want to avoid it. You cannot. So how does that
Sure.
impact you?
I personally, I love it. I love just being out. I love people noticing me. I love it because the reason why I love it is like, I love people. I love meeting people. I get energized by meeting people. But I also know that if you do the little things, like one thing I notice about, for example, Ryan is, Ryan, I'm around him a lot and people come up to him from behind and they're like, picture. Like, and and I'm like, sometimes, people are like, whoa, dude, get away. He's always like, okay, let's do it. And then he takes it. But like, it's little things like that I learned from him. I'm like, hey, like anytime anybody asks for a picture, it might be a moment, but like take that moment and give that to the people.
Sure.
Because that's building the brand. Those people remember that for years down the line. And those people, like you told me at the beginning, you just closed a deal that might've been, one of your first cold calls ever, and it took that long.
Yeah.
You have to be, investing today for 5 years. So that's what I think the show is it's you're investing today for down the road. Now,
Sure.
Does it mean that, people are not calling me today? No, people call me all the time. I mean, I was able to secure a number of new developments. I have another new development project, which is 45 units in Harlem. And that was a direct result of the television show. I pitched against some of the other biggest brokers at some of the biggest firms. And I was like, look, my top of funnel is this. You can't really beat it.
Right.
And, I don't know what to say. They could spend $1 million on marketing, and I don't think they're going to be able to touch what I'm going to be able to do.
Right.
So do you want to go with them, or do you want to go with me?
Strong suit with Serhant is the organic
Exactly.
marketing is working better than paid marketing right now.
Exactly.
It just is.
Exactly.
Organic content reaches people, right?
100%.
Like I'm obsessed with watches, and I like all this shit, all my Instagram search. Like everyone on my team is probably laughing right now because they have access to my Instagram, and it's just like watch video, watch video, watch video. But what's amazing to me is like it's not like these accounts with 1 million followers, right? It's like some like bumblefuck Michigan watch shop that has like 1,500 followers, but because they're posting videos about like the one thing that I was interested in or talking about or whatever, it's on my feed.
Right.
So like it shows you can reach people around the globe. Like the following matters. Like it's not going to hurt you, right? It's only going to help.
Right.
But I think what people don't realize about social today is like how much power you have just by being on there. Like you basically, it's access to like this free commercial, right? Like you're able to get in front of people in a way that you never could before. And that's what's amazing to me about it. And that's what I love about this place and the dedication to it
100%.
is there's an understanding of that. Like there's so many like experts here who are really good at their jobs. And that's really what's, I think separates this place is the understanding of what marketing is today and what it's going to be in 5 years.
Sure.
Like that's a huge advantage. And the show just compounds that.
Absolutely.
Right. Like look, to be able to, and even not like I'm not a cast member, but I can go pitch a development and tell them like, does your timing align? Is it like sexy enough and cool enough to be like a real good storyline?
Right.
Then like, yeah, we can go talk to Ryan and we can talk to Netflix and like, that's a real conversation we can have.
100%.
Right. And that's a huge win. What is it? 200 million households, something like
300 million.
300 million. Oh, no, so, just 100 million off. Like that's, who else can do that?
Nobody.
And that's what I say
I
to
mean,
people.
this many people, you got to understand.
Yeah.
How many reality shows are on Netflix for real estate? There's like 4 of them. How many cast members are on each? 5 to 10. So we're talking about 50 people, and there's millions of real estate agents. Okay, so 50. That's it, 50.
It's a
and to
very
be in
small
that
group.
elite class, that is something that is unmatched, and I just feel super blessed to be a part of it.
Yeah.
And just like you, I'm ready to take advantage of it, and I am taking advantage of it. Seems like you are too.
Trying. I mean, there's no reason not to.
Yeah.
I think you got to lean into this stuff. For me, I look at it as like, how can I leverage this? I've used it in pitches to almost like nullify the need to talk about marketing reach. I go into pitches and I say like, I used to spend my time talking about how many people we can reach and how we're going to do it.
Right.
But I don't really, I don't know. Do you really need me to touch on how many people we're going to reach? Because if you know anything about the brokerage and about the TV show and all this stuff, like we reach more people than anyone. So like, I'd rather spend my time instead of like going over how I can cover the world.
Right.
Let's talk about like some of the more specific things we're going to do here that other brokers are not doing. Let's talk about the data that I keep, the AI that we use. Let's talk about how we're going to do some more targeted marketing in addition to reaching the entire world. Right. So like doing that, it's like I got a 2-pronged fight now, and like the plan is so much more effective, and it's a better pitch to say like I got this power here, and then my team is also like I've invested in all these other resources. So you're getting this like 2-headed monster is the way I like to look at it. Like I want to have that the magnetism and like the reach that Ryan started, and then I want to bring in like that market knowledge and obsession with like all the data that I have, and say like, here's what we have, and no one else can do it. That's the hardest thing about being a broker, right? Is finding what separates you, what makes you different than everyone. Because you and I could trade all day on how much we work. Who gets up early, who does more work, who's always hustling, who answers calls faster. But ultimately, that's just step one. Like that's the entry point, right? Like
that's the base level. You want to be a success? No shit. It's like you got to be the guy that does that. What are you talking about?
Yeah. So I think, that's what's amazing about it. But it's good that you're using it. Has it hurt you though in any way? Like has there been a point in your business where it was negative for you?
Well, I mean, look, there's people sometimes that say, look, I don't want to be anywhere near that. And I say, look, that's okay. Yeah, I don't need to put it on the show. Like we could still do business. And they're like, I don't want to be near it.
Sure.
And maybe I lost a pitch or two because of it.
Sure.
But I gained 5, 10, 50 other ones. So it's the
net
the
analysis
80-20 rule.
Better.
Yeah.
Yeah, interesting.
It's the 80-20 rule. But I'm seeing tremendous success from it. And I think it's something that's extremely unique and rare. And I think the fact that we all have this ability to have this kind of exposure. And what's even great about it is like you said, when you meet somebody, you're going to talk to them about all the things that you're going to do. And I think that's all really important. But at the same time, that's like you building rapport. Right. When people watch the show and then I walk in, because I'm on the show in a big time. Right. So when I walk in, there's the rapport's already built.
Yeah, they know you.
They know me. They know what's going on. I'm like, this is how I'm going to help you.
That's the underlying advantage, I think.
Yeah.
You're at 9 people now, right?
Yep.
How fast have you grown, and is the show impacting that? Is that like what's pushing your growth? You're in Miami, you got 9 people. Like what's the thing that's pushing you most? Is it the exposure, or is it just organic growth of the business? Are you bringing in producers or support people? Like tell me a little bit about that.
Yeah. So, for me, it's always about bringing in, I have a good eye for talent. I bring them in, and I have a very specific way of training and coaching and building people up. Part of my strategy to do that is by breaking them down. So I'm really committed to, not saying I'm like hyper in their business, but like if I say this is how it's done and I catch the mistakes, I will call you out over and over and over again until it's not a problem anymore.
Sure.
Like that's just how it goes. And because of that, what I do is my goal is to always build up rising stars. Now, do I pull in agents that are producing? Yes. But I also have, a really nice group of people, and we do team meetings like you do with trainings every week. We have calls. We have so many different resources that I lead to help build these people up. And, they're doing great, and they support me because I have a team that allows me to go be on the show because I don't need to be at every single showing. I have 30 active listings right now. I certainly can't do all of that, plus be on the show, plus do all the media, right? So I need to have the support. So I currently have a marketing director. I'm just hired an executive assistant who's going to do social booking, that kind of stuff.
It's life-changing, by the way.
The next thing I'm working on is, I hope to be on your level soon, but is the driver. And I think, that is really
changed my life.
I think that's really going to be the next level. And, hopefully I get that this year.
You look at what you earn, right? Yep. And then you work backwards with how much time you spend on either Ubers, Subways, whatever.
Right.
Do the math. And I really quickly realized, one, I was losing 2 hours and 25 minutes on average to Subway.
Right.
And then I started paying for Ubers.
Right.
Ran up a $41,000 Uber bill. That is for the year. And I remember thinking, that's so fucking stupid. Why am I doing that? I'm paying $41,000 for cars, for car services. It's at a certain point, efficiency, and it's really funny because Ryan had been, I wasn't working at SERHANT, and Ryan and I knew each other just from real estate, doing deals together, whatever. And every time I'd run into him, at first I would make fun of him for the driver. And then I forget what happened. We were having a conversation once and I mentioned being busy, blah, 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 whatever. And I mentioned taking Ubers or something. And he just said, you need to get a driver. I'm telling you, you need to do it. He said that to me probably 5 or 6 times over the course of 2 years. And then finally I just broke down and did it. And it was the best decision for my business. One of the best decisions I've ever made. Buys you back so much time.
Right.
And then you have a mobile office, right? You got a little desk and you got your laptop, you got Wi-Fi through the car.
Right.
I think it costs $9.99 a month or something, $10 a month. You got a moving office.
So cool.
And obviously you pay for the car, but the cars are right off, whether it's a lease or a buy or purchase or whatever, that you can make it cost efficient. And it's so helpful.
Right.
And then every once in a while, and it is nice. Honestly, when I moved to SERHANT, my team, I pulled the team on. I was like, do I put my name on the license plate? Because I was like, I'm going to lean into this bold marketing thing. And I did it. And it was so not my personality to do that, to fucking put my name on the license plate and switch from a Suburban to an Escalade. And it was all right, we're stepping up here. And then over the next 6 weeks, I probably had 7 or 8 clients text me photos of the car and be like, is this you? Or saw you or whatever. And it was you realize all those touch points, right? It's just another touch point. Right. I just got 8 free, marketing messages, 8 free commercials to people that I want to be in touch with.
Right. That actually hit you up. Think about all the people that didn't or don't know you, but they're subconsciously recognizing it. That might not be 8. That might be tens of thousands.
Yeah, you don't know. You're driving around New York City, right? You're going to see a lot of people. But it's a great move for efficiency. It's, obviously there's a cost to it, but at a certain level, it's a really good investment.
Yeah.
But so the elephant in the room, we had the issue between our teams. I think people should know, one, that we work together, we collaborate, we have a great working relationship. But, looking back at that, you feel like you handled it. How do you feel like you handled it? Now you had some time to reflect on it.
Yeah, no, that's a really great question. And, I think I was in a unique situation there because, I'm a team lead, you're a team lead.
Yeah.
Maybe that should have been the conversation between us. And if, Jess had a problem with Genesis, then maybe Jess and Genesis should have had that conversation. I think, maybe adding Eric to the mix, brought room for somebody like me. I'm trying to protect my agent, as you are as well.
Yeah, always. Right, you have to.
And
it's
totally
part of the responsibility, right?
And, maybe like I said on the show, I took the bait, and I also was all right, and I went, I think I went a little too hard. Look, whatever's shown on the show is is edited down. There was a lot more. That was talked about there. They got the beginning, they got the end, and then it was 0 to 100 real quick. Yeah. Right. So, I certainly feel that after watching it, I was like, whoa, that was pretty crazy.
A little too intense.
Yeah. It might've been a little too intense, but at the same time, he did nick my finger, and I was like, hey, dude, I'm gonna stand up to that.
Testosterone's flowing a little
it's
bit.
also instinct. If I'm talking to somebody, okay, are you right? I did have my finger up, but if somebody nicks it, I'm also gonna stand up. I don't know where you're from, right? But I'm sure you would do the same thing.
A lot of scraps back in the day.
But I think overall, it made a really good TV show.
Yeah.
And I think it was one of the most dynamic scenes of the entire season. I think it could have just been handled a little bit differently from me. I'll take a lot of responsibility personally.
It's part of being a team lead, right? Is I think the unfortunate thing is there's that burden of however everyone else might react, like
Right.
we're not supposed to do that. And
Right.
like we have to set the example.
Right.
And we gotta like
Right.
diffuse things.
Sure.
And it's hard to do. I get it. Things escalate quickly. It's hard to do, but I feel like that's probably one of the most difficult things about the job, because it's not a 9 to 5 type of company. Like
Right.
it's not a corporate company.
Right.
Not everybody's an employee. Some people are, some people aren't.
Right.
I don't think Jess and Eric are junior agents, but they're producers, just like Genesis,
Yes.
right? But that said,
100%.
it's hard because you're dealing with independent contractors, right?
Right.
So there are limits to what you can and can't do, and it's just a tricky thing to navigate.
Right.
But look, live and learn, and I think it's important. Like this is a business where there's friction,
Right.
constantly,
Always.
right? It's not abnormal, and I think that's the most important takeaway from some of this stuff is like, it's normal. Like
Everything.
this happens all the time.
All the time.
And we just happen to get it on camera. And
Right.
one of them escalated.
Right.
Great. Now we all move
Right.
on, we move forward, and we
Right.
we do better. And that's it.
Right.
Like
Well,
that's
100%.
yeah.
100%. So in the future, you just call me. We'll settle it.
Well, we can scream at each
easily.
other in
Yeah,
private.
Yeah, yeah.
It's fine.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
That way Ryan can't see and no one gets upset.
Exactly.
We'll send the audio to
Exactly.
Netflix. Then.
Exactly.
Yeah, it's
Cool.
fine. But I think we're running out of time, so we try to end everything here with basically what's one secret about that you've learned in this business and in owning Manhattan, like kind of straddling these two worlds that are so interconnected. What's one secret you've learned that nobody else would know and like that you can share with the audience?
I'd probably say that you have to produce your own life. Like, you have to produce your own deals in real estate.
Mhm.
You have to produce your own reality on the reality show. You have to book your own, listings. You have to, get everybody to sign off on it. You have to produce moments. You have to have situational awareness, meaning if this is happening, it's like, okay, this is happening, but also I would normally do this, but also like I'm on TV. So how do I make it entertaining?
Right.
So there's because everyone always asks, is that scripted? And it's like,
Everybody.
it's like, no, they put us in situations and then we have to
Yeah.
produce the moment. Otherwise, the moment doesn't exist on television.
Totally.
So that's the challenge, is like straddling that line between, even in that Jess and Erica scene, it's like straddle that line between crazy and not crazy, but like let people make their own decisions about it. And if they don't like me, great. If they do like me, great.
Yeah.
But that's what good TV is, because we're also in entertainment, not just selling
Sure.
real estate.
Yeah, that's the perpetual challenge. It was the most interesting thing learning that about the Netflix
Yeah.
process is like, there's no plan.
Yeah.
Like, it's just like,
Yeah.
can you get something, like, is there anything interesting happening here?
Right.
Like, what's going on there? Like, is there
Right.
something we could do with that?
Right.
And it's like this constant, search for interesting content.
Right.
It's hard, man.
Right.
And they rely on you guys so much.
Right.
Yeah.
It's very taxing mentally. It's exhausting because you're like thinking, okay, I just met this guy. He's got a house. He might be selling. Do I tell him now? How do I, there's just so many things. And then you have to film this other scene, and then they're throwing curveballs at you over
Yeah.
here. And then it's like, but through time and experience, I think it gets easier. And I think you see the transition from season 1 to season 2. And I think the transition from season 2 to season 3 is just going to be lights out. It's just going to get bigger and better from here.
That's exciting stuff, man. Well, look, thank you very much for joining us.
Thank you, Brian.
If any of you listening want to catch more on Nile, you can reach him. What is it? Nile@SERHANT.com?
Yep, Nile@SERHANT.com.
Right.
And it's at Nile Lundgren on literally every single platform.
Right. But if they're looking for a broker, they probably should hire me.
Or me.
All right, dude. Thank you.
He's a great broker, by the way.
Yeah,
I
both.
love the way you do business, and I got a lot of respect for you.
Right back at you. Appreciate it.